Hi everybody, I am going to be doing your writing lesson now. So let me get this into presentation mode. Okay, so in writing, you guys have been working on a comic and we're going to talk about the plot of the comic. You should have only done steps 1, 2, and 3. I've been getting a lot of papers turned in where you finished 4, 5, and 6 already without very much guidance. Now we're going to talk about 4, 5, and 6. I know a lot of you like to finish really fast, so even though you did 4, 5, and 6, take this time to follow the lesson and then go back and review what you did to make sure you might want to make changes. Changes are always good in writing. So let's put our writing caps on. And let's think about, why is plot important in the writing process? It is very important. Without plot, you don't have a story. You just have like random things happening. And so let's talk about plot. I want you to think about these questions as you're creating your comic and anytime you write in general. As writers, why should writers plan out their writing? Why is it important to create a plan? Why is it important to think of our ideas, make a chart, make a draft, edit, revise, edit and revise again, have somebody else read it and then fix our mistakes? Why is that plan important? Why is the writing process important for a story? Why is it important for story development? How does it help a story grow and build? All of these things are questions I want you to really think about when you're writing. Let's move on. Excuse me. Let's review what plot is. We've talked about plot before. We've talked about it in reading. Reading is a story that has been written by a writer. Right now you are writers and you are writing a story in the form of a comic. A lot of you have read these types of stories in graphic novels, and they follow a storyline or plot. Okay, plot. All of the events that happen in a story are part of the plot. There are some major sections of a plot. A story has a beginning, a story has a middle, and a story has an ending. And so the beginning of the story is usually called the exposition, and that's the literary term, but we're going to call it the beginning, the introduction. It also, the middle part has parts called the rising action. We have the rising action, the events that lead into a problem, the events that introduce the problem, what the character is going to be trying to solve, what their goal is, what their hope is, what they, in the story of Spider-Man, when he goes on his European trip and he is really, really torn about becoming the leader of the Avengers. Okay, and so that is his problem, how to learn how to become a leader. Then we have the conflict, the problem the main character is trying to solve. Okay, and then we also have the resolution, the events that lead on the downward slope to solving the problem, and then we have the final ending solution. So that is plot. Now let's take a look at my comic plan. So here is steps 1, 2, and 3, which I showed you last week, and I redid it in neat formats. I did not have those nice pretty little blocks that you guys have, and if you don't have them, you're not able to download it from the computer. You can see what I did with my notebook paper. So, stories, comic strip plan. Step 1, my main character, her name is Penelope the Elephant. Here's what she looks like. Here's description on the outside, description on the inside. Setting is at a zoo during the spring of what we're going through right now, the coronavirus 2020. Moving on. And so, let me move me. Now what comes next? What comes next is the plot or the story flow. So in step 4, we have decided how our story will begin and what our character wants to know and why. But she cannot. So Penelope, my character wants to know why no one is coming to the zoo. That's her problem. But she cannot see past her enclosure. So she has to try and find out why these people aren't coming, and she has to get out of her enclosure. Now, her events, the events that are leading to a solution, step 5. So my character will find a way to get out of her enclosure. Then my character will learn what is going on with the zoo visitors. Step 6. Finally, the problem is worked out when she hears what is going on the news and sees that the parking lot of the Houston Zoo is empty. And so these are going to go in specific squares in a specific order. Here's my notes. Okay, so we're going to move on. So, here's my completed comic with my labeled parts. I'm going to move me out of the way. Alright, so here's my title. Your first square should include the title of your comic. Okay? It should be related to the main idea of your story. Now, my story is about Penelope, yes. However, you see, she's not in the title of the comic. She has something she's trying to find out. And she wants to know why there's no visitors at the zoo. So my title is The Zoo Visitors Mystery. Okay, first square should be your introduction. And it says, it's such a lovely day for visitors. So, she's expecting people to come see her at the zoo. Now I'm going to introduce a problem. I wonder where everybody is. It's so weird. She and her friend are swimming in their enclosure. Here's the fence and nobody's on the walkway watching them like they're normally used to. Okay, so now rising action. I'm going to find out what's going on. I don't care. I don't see anyone except a few zoo workers. She's gotten out of her enclosure and she's looking around trying to figure out where are these zoo visitors. She goes to the gift shop and the food court. The zoo was quiet and empty of all visitors. Okay, turning point in the story where she's going to start solving her problem. The parking lot was empty. She looked over the gate. There was no cars in the parking lot. Maybe the zookeepers know. She's figuring out how she's going to find out what's going on with this zoo mystery. In the break room, she sees the zookeepers watching the news, and on the TV news headline, due to COVID-19, only essential necessary businesses will be open until further notice to keep everyone safe. And now, our resolution, our ending, our solution. Hopefully, it will not be too long. The zoo will be closed to all visitors. The animals will miss the people. Now she knows what's going on. And now it's no longer a mystery why the zoo has no visitors. So, I would like to see your created comic on notebook paper, on your strip provided in your packets. If you were able to download it, load it from the computer, please, please, please label your parts. And you may turn it into the slides that will be included with this lesson, or you can text it to me or load it on Seesaw. Miss you guys. Love you. See you soon.